Kendrick Lamar has another TV off? What's going on, Hilltop Mafia? Listen, Kendrick Lamar is a magician at this point in time. Like, it releases on the official channel. It's like this album drops, this B-side full of 10 tracks. Then it goes away. Then it comes back. Then it goes away. Then it's elsewhere on the internet. So I don't know if at this point we're at an official B-side drop or what is happening. But we do have another track I want to check out because I've been seeing some theories that maybe these are unreleased cuts that are coming out. Maybe they're not intentional by Kendrick. Maybe there are. But hopefully we will know more after doing one more breakdown. So this right here, right now, is none other than TV Off. But before I go any further, listen, guys, if you like the channel, if you like the content I put out and you want to support, consider joining the Patreon. We got more reactions, more content on there. It's a great community that we're building. If you want to support, if you want to be a part of this journey, I'll put all links to the Patreon down there. But anyways, know what we're here for. Kendrick, step back up to the plate. Let's see what you got.
All right.
That sounds like a fire. Like a fireplace, something burning.
Want everybody to put their glasses in the head. Yeah, you nigga. Put your glass in the air for this one.
Hey.
Talented young brother straight out of Compton, California.
Shout out Ab-Soul, man. He had an amazing album this year. If you haven't checked that one out, I'll put the links down there so you can check it out. But go bump Ab-Soul's album too, man. Body of work just from TDE this year has been incredible.
Finna grace the stage. Goes by the name of K-Dot. Give him a warm welcome. Go ahead.
Watch how I kill him with the funky rhythm. A bombing fluid fill him, piranha send him. Peep my persona as I get deep as Nostradamus. You stalling like the 89 Isaiah Thomas. I'm balling, cut up your pajamas if you sleeping on me. I promise no peeking, homie. You trying to confiscate the flow. I know, so I switch it quicker than my bitches in mini skirts that want your attention. One thing for sure, they gon' get it. I'm cursed with the world's negatives. Probably thinking I'm hurt, but that's the only way I can live. More money, cash, drugs, got me feeling like Ace walking inside the club. Paid it for MOB license plates, 38 snub, hugging my waist like it had arms. Then I bury it, so I guess it really does. No paperwork on this marriage, but I'm in love with life corruptions rather than life. Whoa. Oh,
wow.
You know I need that.
I'll tell you what, again, the mixing quality. It feels like an unreleased cut, doesn't it? And then obviously you had Soul shouting out K-Dot, which makes me think once more that this isn't recent necessarily. This is going back into the past, into the true K-Dot days. But still, some amazing lyricism on this that we're about to break down. And I love kind of the coarser delivery from Kendrick, right? Just like that gruffer voice. He's used this type of voice and intonation before. And we've talked about how many different feature artists Kendrick has on a track, just by putting himself on that track, because he can take his personality and his just charisma of delivery and intonation in so many different directions. All right, let's bring it back and appreciate this. But what's interesting again is, like, obviously you have more of this sort of soulful cut and vibe to it. So to come with more like a gravelly, gruffer tone underneath, and more like the builds and the strings and the highs, right? It just kind of sits at a lower register. It's almost like giving us just that gravity, that bass line, that soul to it all. All right, let's go.
Race the stage.
Nice intro from Ab-Soul too. You hear like the crowd in the background. It feels like he's getting ready to announce Kendrick as he comes onto the stage. So again, you have sort of like, is this like the early days Kendrick? Ab-Soul passing the torch, wanting to put Kendrick on.
Goes by the name of K-Dot. Give him a warm welcome. Go ahead.
Watch how I kill him with the funky rhythm. A bombing fluid fill him, piranha send him. Peep my persona as I
Abomic fluid fill him. We send him to the morgue right now. Catch him by
the funky rhythm. A bombing fluid fill him, piranha send him. Peep my persona as I get deep as Nostradamus. You stalling like
I just love the Nostradamus shout out right there. Kendrick has been a prophet for a long time, being able to see the future and predicting things, right?
piranha send him. Peep my persona as I get deep as Nostradamus. You stalling like the 89 Isaiah Thomas. I'm balling, cut up your pajamas if you sleep.
You stalling like the 89 Isaiah Thomas. I'm balling. Isaiah Thomas, you want to talk about that Detroit Pistons defense that won the championship in 89, right? Isaiah Thomas was a huge part of that, but he was stalling a lot of offenses. That defense was that year, but also like he's balling and he flips it into that scheme. That's smooth.
Like the 89 Isaiah Thomas.
I like how he has like a little stutter. Isaiah Thomas, almost like a stutter step in basketball, you know?
I'm ballin', cut up your pajamas if you sleeping on me. I promise no peeking, homie. You tryna come.
That's a smooth bar. Cut up your pajamas if you're sleeping on me. Come on.
Skate the flow, I know, so I switch it quicker than my bitches in mini skirts that want your attention. One thing for sure, they gon' get it. I'm cursed with the world's negatives. Probably thinking I'm hurt, but that's the only way I can live.
I'm cursed with the world's negatives. Probably thinking I'm hurt. That's the only way I can live. And he talks about, to him, one of the negatives right there is like girls in miniskirts trying to get your attention. So like lust and sexuality and temptation. So he leans into that. Again, you have just some of these sinful religious themes that feel like they're finding their way once more into Kendrick's music and into some of his meta themes that he talks about.
Many skirts that want your attention. One thing for sure, they gon' get it. I'm cursed with the world's negatives. Probably thinking I'm hurt, but that's the only way I can live.
Probably thinking I'm hurt, but that's the only way I can live. He's just got a little bit of like, even though it's a slower, marinated pocket of flow, there's just certain moments like right there I wanted to highlight where he kind of just speeds through the syllables, but then he brings it back down to sort of the marinated, just sitting in that pocket.
More money, cash, drugs, got me feeling like Ace walking inside the club. Paid in full, MOB, license plates, 38 snub, hugging my waist like it had.
MOB, member of Bloods, basically. But also, Ace, paid in full. Cameron was in that movie, wasn't he, man? Shout out to Dipset, but Cameron, paid in full. Mekhi Phifer was in that film. Yeah, I forgot about paid in full, but Ace was our protagonist. But for me, what's interesting is he's talking about the world negatives, right? And walking in and seeing all these things. And it's an interesting choice to use Ace and not like Rico, who was Cameron's character, because Ace originally started outside of the drug game. He didn't want to get involved. He wanted to lead a clean life, but then he got pulled into it. And he saw the riches and he saw the wealth and he saw the things that could benefit from it. And in the end, he does choose to leave again. But I feel like Kendrick can definitely relate to that and feel that growing up and the violence and the drugs and the things that he saw where he's from and feeling pulled into that world, much in the same way as Ace. Smooth little paid in full reference right there.
More money, cash, drugs, got me feeling like Ace walking inside the club. Paid in full, MOB, license plates, 38 snub, hugging my waist like it had arms. Then I bear it, so I guess it really does. No paperwork.
Hugging my waist like it has arms, 38, right? You know how you're bearing arms, gunplay bar versus like arms hug someone's waist. So that's a smooth double right there. And then I bear it like I'm showing it. I'm bearing it. Bearing arms, B-A-R-E, versus like having bare arms. Hang on, I flipped that wrong. Bare arms is in B-A-R-E because they're bare arms versus when you bear as in you carry arms, B-E-A-R. See the double flips that he's doing on the homophones there? That's dope.
Then I bear it, so I guess it really does. No paperwork on this marriage, but I'm in love with life corruptions rather than life. Whoa.
Wow.
Oh.
No paperwork on this marriage. No paper like does work. No paper will work on this marriage. No money will work on this marriage, right? Because marriage, and you think about love, it takes something deeper to truly last. You can't just throw money at it. So no paper works on it. But also he's got no paperwork on this marriage because he's married to the money and to this life, but not officially. It's not like he's going to Vegas and we've gotten the paperwork signed. So there's no like official paperwork in that sense. That's a very dope double, but there's like a deeper, more moral scheme underneath of that. I love that line.
Then I bear it, so I guess it really does. No paperwork on this marriage, but I'm in love with life corruptions rather than life. Whoa.
But I'm in love with life's corruptions rather than life. And that's why I tie him back to the paper and the money and the drugs. So he sees this lifestyle, this extravagance that comes with it. And he knows that there's corruption to it. And there is sin and there is darkness. And yet he's kind of leaning into it. This isn't a Mr. Morale Kendrick. This definitely feels like an earlier Kendrick in this. Acknowledging these temptations, acknowledging this darkness, but also not doing anything to stop it, right?
Love with life corruptions rather than life. Whoa. Oh, you ain't know I need that. More money, more drugs, I need that. More murder, more guns, I need that. Wondering how I live with the world's negative. It's the last days, my nigga. We living in a life for crime pays, my nigga. So all I can say is get paid, my nigga. Money, murder, or dope, which one you love most? Mamacita had a banging body.
Money, murder, or dope, which one you love most? It just hits different, and we got the smooth melodies from Kendrick on that, man.
Murder or dope, which one you love most? Mamacita had a banging body, drove a black Beamer, present from her baby daddy probably. He knew the nigga from high school. 10th grade, they was cool. Fell out hole for a dice game. She knew that, but still wanted him to penetrate through that. Shorty, wait, me and your man go way back. She said, so what? He don't need to know what go home between us. Besides, I just wanna fuck. She blew his mind. Know what? We can exchange ditches. Let's hook up later, pay one of them hotels a visit. She seemed more than interested, more like desperate to be intimate. Either she this polite or his lucky night. Got the champagne sitting on ice. Room 112, fucking all night to interrupt it. By her baby daddy and some niggas that he fuck with. Got him for everything. Pussies are negative. Adam and Eve, he should've known.
Pussies are negative. Adam and Eve, he should have known. Why? Because Eve is the one who accepted temptation first and then got Adam to fall as well from the snake in the garden in original sin. So that's why I say he takes that as a negative. And this is dope because all of a sudden in this second verse, you've got storytelling Kendrick and him flashing that side of it. And what's he going to focus on this time? Right? He talked about the drugs. He talked about the money. Now he's talking about the sex. But then the sex was used to take advantage of his wealth. So our main character in this sense got tricked, like thinking like, oh, I shouldn't be sleeping with her. One, that's temptation. So that's one of the sins, right? In that sense, right? Sleeping with another man's woman. And he's like, I know him, but I shouldn't. But then obviously he gives into it. And then it was all a setup because the man shows up, he gets robbed, taken for everything that he has, and he shouldn't have trusted her in the first place. So you see just the roots of all that storytelling that ties in with the greater theme of all these world negatives and these world evils. And this world temptation that Kendrick sees.
Adam and Eve, he should've known. Oh, you ain't know he need that. More pussy, more hoes, he need that. Even if it's dirty pussy, he need that. Wondering how he lives with the world's negatives.
Even if it's dirty pussy, you need that. I love how that hook just flips now. Flips to have more meanings and more connotations with the new information that the second verse gives us with the storytelling. This is very good musicality.
Wondering how he lives with the world's negatives. This the last days, my nigga. We living in a life for crime pays, my nigga. So all I can say is get paid, my nigga. Money, murder, or dope, which one you love most? Living in hell, waiting on heaven, but you don't know. So might as well try to accept it, go with the flow. Oh, this life will never change, rather than try to fix. So I'm gonna do my thing, try to continue living. Seems like we never see home. You know, so we screaming. This life will never change, rather than try to fix. So I'm gonna do my thing, try to continue living. Goes out.
Man, I tell you what, I love that brass. But I love the lines, this is the last days. Makes me think about the book of Revelation, Armageddon times, and the last days in that sense. And living like, you know, this is the end of times. So there's no repercussions, so who cares? So this is the last days that he takes that and uses it to kind of justify this morally bankrupt way of living and chasing all of these vices, and then obviously going through hell. But the whole reason that these vices are being pursued is because it just gives an instant gratification, right? It just gives a momentary release because think about it, being at the bottom, seeing all this violence, seeing all of this trauma, right? This is the only way to deal with it. So living in hell, just hoping that heaven will come. And there's some more of the religious themes coming back around throughout this.
So I'm gonna do my thing, try to continue living.
So I'm gonna do my thing, try to continue living, right? That's all I can do is just try to survive. And that's what it becomes. It's just survival, right? And because tomorrow is not promised, you live completely in the here and the now, right? No matter the repercussions of all that. And even like a simple line is like change. You think about nothing will change, but then also change is in money and tying back to the wealth and the pursuit of monetary success.
Oh, you know, so we screaming, this life will never change, rather than try to fix. So I'm gonna do my thing, try to continue living. Goes out to everybody that know about bad habits and willing to accept them as a fatal attraction. What a reaction. Rolling with the punches that life gives us, they ending up like ashes. Liver cirrhosis, matches giving us cancer, bitches giving us gonorrhea. Promise I practice safe sex. Mama, don't cry. They say the good die young, but a crack kid live a long time. So I crack open a big keg, take that bitch to the head. Sipping it slow, hoping it prolong my soul. And it's crazy, yo. When the heat is on, I put on a coat. They take it off when it's about to get cold. I've adapted to my environment, murder and violence, 20 years worth of it, so I gotta love it, you can't blame me. Negative energy puppets poured by evil string. As I open the Bible, I start to sing.
The gods invaded my kidneys.
Wow.
Got me.
There was some very dope bars, but what's interesting again, what struck me was the Kesha lines. I mean, Kesha hasn't been big for a minute, but wake up in the morning feeling like P. Diddy. Man, that aged well, didn't it? But let's go back to some of this breakdown right here and some of these bars. Again, this is why I'm thinking this is more nostalgic from Kendrick and back in the past, a blast from the past in that sense. But still, the message is poignant.
Promise I practice safe. Rolling with the punches that life rather than try to fix, so I'm gonna do my thing, try to continue living. Goes out to everybody that know about bad habits and willing to accept them as a fatal attraction. What a
Goes out to everybody who knows about bad habits and willing to accept them as a fatal attraction. See how he just goes a little bit faster through the scheme once more? Like I talked about, that marinated scheme. But there's just little moments that he kind of speeds through it. And it just feels like life, like the heart racing a little bit, but a fatal attraction in this sense. When you have a fatal attraction to someone, you can't help it. And it ties back into the temptation, into the sex. But also, like, you can get addicted to these bad habits. And it can have fatal consequences as a result of this attraction to it. Smooth flip there.
About bad habits and willing to accept them as a fatal attraction. What a reaction. Rolling with the punches that life gives us, they ending up like ashes. Liver cirrhosis, matches giving us cancer.
Rolling with the punches that life gives us, then ended up like Kesha's liver cirrhosis. Makes me think of before I leave, brush my teeth with a bottle of Jack. Because when I leave for the night, I ain't coming back. So obviously, like, she's celebrating this party lifestyle that a lot of mainstream and a lot of people glorify to this day, like partying every night and living like a rock star in that sense. But Kendrick pointing out that there are fatal attractions and fatal consequences to that. Like if she's going to brush her teeth with a bottle of Jack every day and live that life and go out partying and not remember her name, well, eventually, how you doing, liver cirrhosis?
Just that life gives us, they ending up like ashes. Liver cirrhosis, matches giving us cancer, bitches giving us gonorrhea. Promise I practice safe sex. Mama, don't cry.
Matches giving us cancer, right? All that smoking that we're doing, like to ease our pain and our stress. Well, at the same time, it's ironically adding to our stress and giving us more pain. It may give us short-term release, but it's going to give us long-term pain.
Giving us gonorrhea. Promise I practice.
And then bitches, dirty pussy giving us gonorrhea.
Safe sex.
Wrap it before you tap it.
Mama, don't cry. They say the good die young, but a crack kid live a long time. So I crack open a big keg, take that bitch to the head.
I mean, it's so true, isn't it? The good die young, but a crackhead lives a long time. So I'm cracking open a beer keg, right? I might as well be a bad one so that I can live, because what's it become about? Again, one of those themes, survival.
Kid live a long time, so I crack open a big keg, take that bitch to the head. Sipping it slow, hoping it prolong my soul. And it's crazy, yo. When the heat is on, I put on a coat. They take it.
Even that simple line, sipping it slow, hoping it pull on my soul. That's just a great example of a line from Kendrick that just shows you just a deeper sort of artistry to it in the way that he chooses and weaves his words, right? As you're pulling on that drink, it's pulling on your soul slowly because it's taking it away from you and making you more hollow like that drink bottle.
When it pull on my soul, and it's crazy, yo. When the heat is on, I put on a coat. They take it off when it's about to get cold.
And that's a dope juxtaposition. When heat is on, I put on the coat. Like when the heat is on me, I'm trying to disguise myself so people can't see. That's why I'm wearing the coat, ironically, right? And also I might be tucking some things. And then when it's cold, like when it's about to go down, I'm taking the coat off. I'm revealing what I got. At the same time, smooth flips into heat, coat, taking it off when it's cold. Come on.
Adapted to my environment, murder and violence, 20 years worth of.
And then he sets it up after that, adapted to my environment, murder environment. So that sets up the coat lines and everything, what he's talking about.
I've adapted to my environment, murder and violence, 20 years worth of it, so I gotta love it, you can't blame me. Negative energy puppets poured by evil string. As I open the Bible, I start to sing.
The gods invaded my kid.
20 years of it, negative energy, puppets pulled by string. And then what's very interesting is this final line before we hear soul start to come in, right? Is as I open a Bible, I start to sing. So he's letting us know he's a product of this environment, right? And he's just a result of all this world that he sees around him. And yet still, this very last line, what is he doing, right? He obviously hasn't fully sold his soul. He obviously hasn't fully given into these vices because, one, he's rapping about them and he's acknowledging the negatives to them. So there's that meta and that self-awareness. And then right here, this very final line, he's opening a Bible and he started saying, you wouldn't think that is going to be his last line with everything else that he's talked about in terms of leaning into the temptations. And yet here he is doing that. Very Kendrick type of duality and Gemini feel to this.
Beautiful string, as I open the Bible, I start to sing.
The gods invaded my kidneys. Got me ready to lick off, mama, forgive me. I can't be held accountable. The negatives beating me down, boo. Got me rolling with guys, making G's, telling lies that sound true. Come test me.
Invading my kidneys. He's flipped that and even being held accountable. That's Jay-Z. That's Reasonable Doubt days. Soul is paying homage to Jay-Z. Again, we got West Coast paying homage to East Coast here.
With guys, making G's,
and one of Jay-Z's greatest albums of all time. A great hip-hop album, Reasonable Doubt.
Lies that sound true. Come test me.
It's the last days, my nigga. We're living in a life for crowd pace, my nigga. So all I can say is get paid, my nigga. Money, murder, or dope, which one you love most? Living in hell, waiting on heaven, but you don't know. So might as well try to accept it, go with the flow. Oh, this life will never change, rather than try to fix. So I'm gonna do my thing, try to continue living. Seems like we never see home, you know. So we screaming, this life will never change, rather than try to fix. So I'm gonna do my thing, try to continue living.
I can't hear if it seems like we'll never see home or never see hope. Either applies, really. Yeah. Hold up. So you hear that fire? We started
All right.
on the fire and the crowd in the background. This sort of parallel. And then you have the crowd in the background to end it. And then almost like an explosion, like a building burning on fire. So to me, there's two levels to that, right? Because now all these themes come around. We heard that fire to start with, and we had no idea what that fire meant. But now, because of the context of the song, we have a new appreciation for what that fire is. That fire burning, much in the same way as like the fires of hell, because of all this sin that's been given into, right, in this life, and we know where it's heading. So it's almost like it's a warning, in a sense, that Kendrick sets up for us. It's a parable, really. But then the other level to that for me is when you hear like that first like flame engulfing, almost like something's been set and it's like taken off. Like you hear that sound and that initial impact of the flame before it really starts to crackle away. Hang on. That sounds like he's lighting the building of the party. He's watching the party die, in a sense, right? Kendrick is burning these things, right? He's acknowledging their evils, and that final line of him singing from the Bible, I think he's now setting fire to it and almost taking control and taking ownership of it, in a sense. That could be the other level to that. But again, that's just a great example of kind of the poetry and artistry of Kendrick Lamar. He leaves it open-ended for us, the listener, to interpret and to take on board. And you know what? Whether or not this is meant to be an official release, because I'm starting to lean now that the rest of this is not. Like, it feels like it's all unreleased, older cuts, that theory that it's been a hack is true. I know it was dropped like a week ago, and then it came back, and then it existed for a while on Kendrick's official channel, and it was there for a while. I sat there watching it, and that's why I'm like, man, I better start recording to this. But now I can start to appreciate that it does seem like, yeah, this is a hack that someone got into the account and started releasing older cuts and then just titling them so they would relate to GNX, because this is definitely not relating to TV off in that sense. But actually, you know what? Hell, it could go to TV off. Like, turn this TV off and stop giving in to these temptations. But yeah, with Soul on it, him announcing K-Dot, the Kesha reference, it's definitely an older cut. But I'll take any excuse to appreciate more Kendrick and to listen to Kendrick I've not listened to before. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this breakdown and just enjoyed some of the artistry that he has consistently shown throughout the years and the levels and layers to Kendrick Lamar. You are Knox Hill certified. Hope you guys liked today's video. Listen for some reason you're here at the end. Obviously, enjoy the content. Do me a huge favor. Support the channel directly. Subscribe, notifications on. Really does go a long way. Also, if you like the hat I'm wearing, if you like the shirt I'm wearing, knoxhillmusic.com. Go get your merch. We got hats, we got shirts, we got hoodies, we got everything you need. If you want to support, I'll put all links down there. All right, guys. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. Stay safe. Take care of these. I'll catch you again.